Hey guys, I just wanted to wish everybody a happy Easter Sunday. I am very, very quickly turning 51 years old, like really soon. I'm up here in Arctic Valley in Alaska right now, going to be doing this weight loss update up here. This is a really busy place. I've been surprised at the amount of joggers I see running up and down the hill. And before the carnivore diet, before losing all this weight and figuring out that even a meat-based diet is extremely helpful for losing weight and maintaining weight losses, I was unable to do stuff like this. I have been consuming the majority of my time working on this new vehicle that I got. I'm in it right now. This is a 1999 Jeep Cherokee. And the reason I got this was because years ago, I had an older Jeep Cherokee similar to this one. I loved it, but I was too fat. I couldn't fit in between the steering wheel, which is the way it was set up. I was so big. I could, fit like this in the vehicle, and then my gut was way out to here, just about rubbing the steering wheel. I looked pretty bad back in those days. But yeah, I was well over 350 pounds at that time, and I was still too big for these Jeeps. Now that I've lost all this weight, and with the thanks to every single one of you that's come back and helped support the channel and helped support me in my endeavors to all of this, yeah, I can just be thankful now, and I appreciate everything about the carnivore community, ketovore community, keto. I'm part of several different communities, and that's one of the things that I, try to mention to people when they get started with the weight loss journey. Hey, just join a community right off the bat. That's the first step. For me, learning how to do fasting was really important. It taught me a lot of things to where I figured out that I really wasn't as hungry as I thought I was, and I didn't require all the food and all the snacks that I was constantly searching for, because I was searching for flavors. I was eating emotions. I wasn't even trying to, focus on actual health, but I thought I was being healthy when I was doing it. And I know a lot of us were there at that point. We were just trying to lose weight, by eating products, specific products, and then we were wanting the easy way out. Stuff like Ozempic hit the market. People were getting prescribed Ozempic. I was getting prescribed Ozempic because it was my doctor's last-ditch effort to try to figure out if they could get me to lose some weight and get me to lose weight quick, because I was so morbidly obese that I didn't have long to live. I shouldn't have been. If I kept going on my previous path, I wouldn't be here right now having this conversation with you guys. I was so sick. Everything about me was wrong. Anytime I went out in public, I'd come home and I would be sick for 3 or 4 days sometimes, just from the average cold that goes around. But now that I've been doing this diet, I've been extremely healthy. I almost never get sick, and when I do get sick, I'm so functional. I can just go to work without a problem. I don't seem to have any issues working through any type of snivels that my children might bring home and share with us as a family. Now, something I was doing a little bit of research on just a couple days ago was the mysterious phenomenon wrapped around egg farts. And because since I've been doing a meat-based diet, carnivore type diet, I have not noticed any type of sensation as to bloating or problems with my gut when it comes to eating eggs like in the past. And the further I dug into the research, I was like, wow, this is pretty simple to understand, is that when people are experiencing things like egg farts, it's because your gut biome, everything that's going on in your gut, is so messed up from the diet that you're eating now. And once you clean up your gut, you just eat a lot of healthy meats and fats, egg farts go away. I don't have them. They're gone. That's one of those amazing blessings. Let's get on into what I weighed in this morning. So I did do a little bit of, I tried a couple days of egg fasting. I was going to do 3 days, and then I just got hungry. I needed food. I got done after work, and I was like, I need something else. So I made a ribeye steak. So I was deliberately trying to lose a little bit of weight with these egg fasts. And I was just adding eggs and sardines into a bowl. And I was cooking my eggs with ghee. Now, ghee has been one of my most favorite ingredients lately when it comes to just making eggs. I put about 2 to 3 tablespoons of ghee in the pan. I just toss my eggs on top of there. I don't worry about scrambling them. I don't worry about being over easy, over medium. I just stick the spatula in there and I just start whipping that around until everything is done. Toss it in a bowl. Can of sardines goes right on top. It's really not that bad. I know a lot of people think sardines are just absolutely but they're not, unless they're fishy. If they're fishy, yeah, they're pretty gross. I had one can that was a little bit fishy, of the Brunswick sardines, and that was the one that had the jalapenos in it. I don't know why it had a fishy flavor, because I had a previous can that had some black olives in there, and that was spot on. That was beautiful. One of the best sardines I've ever had. It just happened to have black olives in the can as part of the ingredients, and it also had a really, really nice high quality type olive oil, and you could see that. And yeah, good stuff. I did lose some weight. So when I did do my weigh-in, I was 261.9 pounds today, and that's pretty phenomenal, considering I wasn't really expecting to get any weight loss, because when I started the week, I looked at the scale and my weight's been fluctuating from anywhere from 261 pounds up to 267.8 pounds. So getting close to 268, but I've never gone back up over 270 pounds. And all I've been doing is mainly a meat-based diet. So I just focus on meats and fats. 10% I love my life at minimum. If I want to do some fasting, I'll do some fasting. But if you're going to start out with fasting, or at least with me, I have to have a plan. And without a plan, fasting doesn't tend to work very well. So as long as we're planning a fast, we're eating nutritious, healthy foods right before the fast, that gets us through the fast. And then we have a set date or set time, like, okay, I'm going to be quitting my fast at this time. Or if something goes wrong throughout the fast, you can always bail out on the fast, just go back to eating normal, healthy foods, whatever animal products you might want. And I specifically mean animal products, because all that healthy fat is what our body's craving. And I never understood that years ago. When I looked at all the dietary and health, stuff that was out there online, it all taught us like fat is bad, bacon's bad, eggs got high cholesterol, you're going to raise your cholesterol. Well, if you're eating the standard American diet, that is 100% true. I mean, that's a problem. All of a sudden, bacon becomes a problem. Eggs become a problem. Steak could potentially become a problem at that point if you continue to flip-flop back and forth. So just going like meat-based diet for one day and then eating trash food the next day is the quickest way somebody can elevate their situation into a really unhealthy area of where stroke, heart attack, random cancers could be part of the mix. I don't see any risk in doing what I'm doing right now as far as cholesterol, high blood pressure, because that corrects itself when I'm eating a really healthy, meal of something like ribeye steak or having some bacon and eggs. None of that has been a problem. I've got the numbers to prove it. I've done videos in the past to share everything about my experience with my blood work. And I just try to be as honest as I can when I come out here and talk with you guys. I've been getting a lot of friends and a lot of family and even coworkers that are getting really interested in my success. And everybody asks me all the time, like, hey, what are you eating? And I just have to tell them, it's like, man, seriously, it is as simple as just eat meat. But they don't wrap their head around that. And I remember when I first started, I did not wrap my head around it well until I really got serious, with a meat-based diet, ketovore, and carnivore diet, because I was so bent on fasting at that point, because I was seeing so many pounds drop off my body with fasting, doing deliberate fasting, and having a plan afterwards. But my problem with fasting is I needed a maintenance type thing to do after fasting, because you can do fasting, lose a bunch of weight. Anybody can do that. That's easy. But it's what you do after the fast that makes the difference. Now, since I figured out that if I eat a lot of healthy, nutritious meats and fats, ribeye steaks, hamburgers, maybe some dairy, limited on the dairy, that's my thing, because dairy stalls me, and sometimes I will get some gradual weight gain, fluctuation with water weight, depending on what type of dairy I might consume. Now, if I should get heavy into the carbohydrates just out of a binge type moment, or I just don't care, because sometimes we get burnt out. We just get completely burnt out with whatever we're doing. Doesn't matter if it's fasting, a specific eating principle. If we have you know, a death in the family, emotional situation, we have a breakup, we tend to get into carbohydrates and get into sugary type stuff. That's totally normal. It's kind of like that instant feel good, gives us that automatic dopamine kick, you know, similar to a crackhead or a heroin addict doing drugs. And that's something that heroin addicts and crackheads use, is they use sugar, they use carbohydrates for when they're not all drugged up. We're no different than them when it comes to sugar addiction, carbohydrate addiction. I've been doing a lot of research on their addiction as well, and how they manage it and how they try to get off of it is very similar to how we need to get off of sugar. So it's step by step. We can't do it automatically overnight. I'm still sugar addicted. You give me a lot of sugar, you put some carbohydrates in front of me, you know, something like potato salad, potato chips, sometimes French fries. Yeah, I might have to get into some, because it's just normal. It's just normal. And we're trying to live a social life with other people and not be the complete oddball in the room. So there's that too. Trying to be social and also do the carnivore diet, but not make a spectacle out of ourselves, you know, like the vegans do. They have to make a spectacle out of everything, and they want to be noticed everywhere they go. I don't want to be noticed everywhere I go unless somebody asks. If somebody asks me, hey man, how you losing the weight? How you getting healthy? You know, I'll talk about it, but I'll come at them a little bit sideways. I'll come in and talk about how, you know, all right, I'm doing a meat-based type diet. That is something they can wrap their mind around. 90-10 eating principle is something a person that's not doing this, you know, specifically 100% fanatical type carnivore. And I say fanatical in a good way, because I have not yet been able to do much more than 30 days of strict carnivore diet eating. So I tend to just focus on 5 solid days of anything that I'm doing. If I can make it through the weekend doing carnivore, you know, 100% carnivore, I'll try. But if I can't, or if I just don't feel like it because I'm burnt out. I've been doing this for over 2 years now. Actually, no, we're going to be over 2 years in about a week. So that'll be my 2-year anniversary for my weight loss. And we'll give you a total as to what I lost in a period of 2 years with little to no exercise. And seriously, guys, I just try to be as honest as possible and share all this adventure with you guys, so you can hopefully help, you know, fix yourselves in the process of learning from my experience with foods and addiction, other type of issues. Sometimes we have family issues too that just get in our way. And I just want you to know, I sincerely care about each and every one of you. I appreciate all of you that come back to the comments section, send me personal emails and messages. It's been helpful. Now, everybody has a lot of really good advice they like to share, and we all need to just cherry pick what we need that works for our situation. You know, just like when I'm talking to people, you know, I understand that they've got their own family situations going on. They're not going to adhere 100%. But if I can get them to eat the majority of meats and then have a little bit of something that they enjoy, I think we're winning the battle at that point. All right, guys, I got a motor on home, so I hope to see you guys in the next one.